Dave Stewart, he was a really great leader, and he was someone who was always in the trenches, always out meeting people, and really just gave people the sense of connection with him.
Yeah.
He wasn't like too good to talk to you, or you know that kind of thing. And so I have a few people in my life that are like that, who are like just really good, almost silent leaders.
Yeah.
They lead by action and they lead by serving, and it's
my favorite kind of leader.
Yeah. It's just, I think that's really what I want to be, is like them in that way, is I want to be a servant leader.
Welcome to another episode of Leaders in the Spotlight with me, Taiji Charity.
This podcast is for C-suite leaders to discuss their experiences and provide insight, encouragement, and inspiration for seasoned and inspiring leaders, offering valuable solutions to today's challenges that will inspire, ignite, and invigorate new and seasoned leaders to walk in their God-given authority with compassion, kindness, and empathy. So sit back, relax, and be prepared to be inspired with today's episode of
Leaders in the Spotlight.
Thank you.
Welcome to another episode of Leaders in the Spotlight, where we navigate the highs, lows, and unexpected plot twists of leadership. I'm Taiji Charity, your host. Today, I'm excited to introduce Alison Bodager, the founder of Jacaranda Rising, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting transitional age adults 18 to 24 facing homelessness or aging out of foster care. Raised in Ohio, Ali has been advocating for underserved youth since middle school. After moving to Los Angeles in 2010 to work in Skid Row, she later became a trust and estate paralegal, gaining valuable insights into the nonprofit sector. The COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 allowed her to develop her vision for Jacaranda Rising, which launched in 2021 to empower young adults with vital life and job skills. By 2024, the organization served over 60 young people, and Ali aimed to double that number annually, creating a lasting impact in their lives. Y'all, I am so excited to have her here. Ali, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell me your last name, because I feel like I just butchered it.
Bodager.
Bodager. Did I say that? Was I even
close? You were very close.
All right, well, okay. Can I get something for being close?
You can get something for being close.
No, but I want to make sure I respect your name. So thank you again.
Of course.
For being here. Thank you for
having me.
Of course, absolutely. Thank you for the work that you're doing. I know this work is not easy at all.
No, it's not easy, but it's so rewarding, and it's so it's just such a beautiful thing to do, is be able to help those that don't have someone to support them through through transitioning into adulthood. So yeah.
So from Ohio to LA, can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
When did you know that you were going to be making that transition, or that it sounds like you had a vision for Jacaranda House. When did that vision start? Just give us a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah, definitely. So Jacaranda Rising was, man, I wanted to open a nonprofit since I was in middle school.
Really?
I found a journal actually from when I was in middle school, and it went through this whole drop-in center idea that I had, that I really wanted to start. And so once I moved out here and worked in Skid Row, moved out here for the weather, obviously, but also
no, that's right.
because Ohio, come on.
Right.
But I also moved out here because I got the job in Skid Row, and I really wanted to work with young adults and children that were experiencing homelessness. Mm-hmm. So when I was working there, I really saw the age group and the demographic that was forgotten or just clumped together with other adults. So I saw young adults that just had no one guiding them. Yeah. They were clumped together with older adults who kind of had an idea of what to do with their lives, or were receiving help in different ways. Mm-hmm. And it didn't sit right with me. And, you know, especially the young adults aging out of foster care, that was a real trigger for me, was to watch them just go from having lived such a unsettled life, and then all of a sudden, okay, now you're expected to know what to do.
Right.
And so, you know, that was how I really came up with the idea for Jacaranda Rising, was just seeing those groups of people, that age group, just expected to know.
Yeah.
And not having guidance before.
Right.
It's just so difficult.
Right. It doesn't even make sense, right? Absolutely. I'm just curious to know, because you're probably the first guest that I have interviewed that in middle school wanted to start a nonprofit. What middle schooler thinks like that? Where did that come from?
You know, I was a big reader,
Okay.
and I read this book called The Sword and the Switchblade. And
Oh, I remember that. I read that book.
You remember that book?
Yes.
Where this guy like gave up his life to go and serve young people that were in gangs. And I was...
They did the movie version of it too.
Oh, yeah? I
Yeah.
haven't seen the movie.
Okay.
I'll have to check that out. But I remember reading that and being like, just it really settled with me on how those young people were just looking for a family.
Yeah.
And that's what brought them into the gang, was that sense of family, that sense of connection, that sense of being known. And that's something that's just so important for everybody, not just young people, but that sense of belonging and that sense of being known. And so I think, you know, I was a little awkward in middle school, so I didn't have a lot of friends. And middle schoolers can be a little...
Tell me about it. Kids can just be mean.
Yeah.
Just outright mean and disrespectful.
Absolutely. So when I read that book, it really like settled with me in that sense of like wanting connection with people. And so I was like, I don't want anyone to experience what I'm experiencing. So I wanted to really set something up that gave a sense of connection and belonging in a safe, healthier environment. And so that's kind of what happened with Jacaranda. Is I did a whole thing on it in college. When I was in college, I did a whole class based on starting a nonprofit and what that would look like. And,
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
What did you study in college?
Youth ministry. I was a youth
okay.
ministry major in college. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Which college?
Taylor University in Indiana.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a Midwest girl for sure, but
Yay.
but I love the city. I love being out here in LA. So yeah, I studied that. I worked on, back then I wanted to call it Impact and call it Impact Cafe as a drop-in center. But once I was working on coming up with the idea for Jacaranda in 2020, Impact was very widely used. And I wanted to be unique and different. And so I chose my favorite tree instead to name it after.
I like that.
Yeah.
There's so many significant meanings to just a tree and the roots of a tree and being planted and all of that stuff. So that was a really great
flowers
name.
that bloom
And
from
the
that
flowers
tree.
that bloom,
And they're
exactly.
like, they're and it's the whole concept of that tree is not perfect. It's not a perfectly straight tree. It's not like a palm tree where it's just straight up and down. It's got some twists and turns. It's got some notches, you know. So it's not perfect, but it's absolutely beautiful. And that's the whole concept of Jacaranda, is you don't have to be perfect to be beautiful. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. And so that's kind of the whole concept behind the name of Jacaranda.
Wow. So being in school and learning how to start a nonprofit, your degree is in youth ministry. How did you put those two together in terms of like youth ministry and then I want to start a nonprofit? Did they offer those types of classes there at the college you went to, like nonprofit 101 or?
Yeah, I was a youth ministry business major, so so it was I was double majoring, and so I was able to really see We had like social work classes that I took. We had a bunch of different classes that you could take as electives, and one of them that I liked was the nonprofit business.
Okay.
You know,
so
option.
your school offered a class on nonprofits.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a really cool class. I definitely knew the demographic I wanted to work with. So youth ministry was kind of close. It wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew a lot of the classes that they offered would really work with what I wanted to do. So
how have you built your team around the work that you're doing?
Yeah, that has been really interesting.
It's a good way of putting it. It's been interesting.
Finding people with the heart to serve young people is I don't want to say easy, but it's easier than I expected.
Okay.
I was expecting it to be like, okay, you're going to be on my board. That means it's an hour and a half board meeting once a month. And I'd like you to get involved in workshops so you can actually get feet on the ground experience with what we're doing. And I was expecting people to be like, that's too much of a commitment. I can't commit to that. And my board has been really fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
I have a really great working board, and I met a lot of them through church. I met some of them through people that volunteer and are like, oh, I know someone who would be really great for your board. I know someone who would love to serve in this organization. And so it's a lot of word of mouth. I do a lot of one-on-one meetings with people to make sure their hearts are in the right place when they serve, because I really don't want someone who's in it for this volunteer hours.
Absolutely.
Because especially young adults in foster care, they can point out BS.
Yes, they can.
So quickly. They walk in and they're like, nope, you're not in it for me. You're in it because this is a job. And so I was having a conversation earlier with one of your staff, and she was saying, you know, it's just, they can tell when it's a paycheck instead of when it's a heart.
Absolutely.
And so that's just, it's so true. And so I do a lot of one-on-one meetings to make sure that my volunteers and my board members are in it for the right reasons.
That's good. What church do you belong to, if you don't mind me asking?
So I'm currently seeking a church, but I used to go to
invite
South
you to
Hills.
mine.
Yeah. That would be fun. Yeah. My boyfriend and I are looking for one right now.
Okay, we're right in North Hollywood. Vessels of Honor. That's where I go.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that offline.
Sounds good.
All right. But you said you pulled some of your board members from the church, so I'm assuming you were attending a church at the time.
Yeah, South Hills.
South Hills in Burbank. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I actually worked there for a little while. So so that was my my management experience in a mass quantity was being the manager at that church.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So in terms of, now we've had the board, we're building the board, and you started this organization, right? So you are the founder. What advice would you give to someone who's interested in starting a nonprofit? Like, what are some of the things you would say? Avoid doing that, focus on doing this. Like, what advice would you give someone who's just interested in, you know, who have a heart for service and have always wanted to start a nonprofit?
Yeah. I think one of the things is be prepared to wear many, many hats.
You can say that again, my friend. You better be prepared to wear a lot of hats.
All the hats at
All
first.
the hats. Exactly.
And what I found to be the most rewarding and the most help is surrounding myself by people who know more than I do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm going to drink to that. Yes. Amen.
So I try really hard with my board, with the people that help me with my workshops, to not be the smartest person in the room. Like if I surround myself with people who know more than I do. I grow both as a person and as a leader, but I also give the young adults that we serve more experience. So they have a better experience because the person leading our job skills workshops worked in HR for years. The budgeting workshop leader is a financial advisor. So, we bring in people who are experts so that it's not me trying to do everything on my own. It doesn't make sense to reinvent the wheel because you have so much work to do anyway, and then reinventing the wheel, is just so hard. So my board is made up of people in multiple sections of what we do. So I have this brilliant businessman. I have a real estate agent who helps with our apartment hunting workshops, and she is going to eventually help us find a home that we can open up for young adults. And then we have people in education. So we have a special education teacher who knows how to make our workshops for people who may have ADHD or some sort of learning challenge that they have. So she just comes in and evaluates our workshops and is this is how it would be better for this person. And we really try to adjust as frequently as possible because needs are ever changing. And so having a good evaluation, like quarterly or twice a year, is just so good. And making sure that the people that you're serving, that you're working with, are involved in that.
That's good.
So we have a youth advisory board that we meet with quarterly, and they just tell us how our workshops are going.
That's good.
How they feel after the workshops.
That's good.
What needs aren't getting met. So we can adapt and possibly meet those needs, or meet with their caseworkers so that the caseworkers know, hey, this is something that maybe we should look at fulfilling somehow. And so I think surrounding yourself with people smarter than you, being prepared to wear multiple hats, and then having really good ways of seeing how your work is being done.
Letting the people that you're serving sort of lead you into the areas that they need service in, or that they need help.
Absolutely.
The community is so important. We serve young people, and oftentimes we think they may need this, and they're like, wait, no, but I actually need this. And so being able to adjust and meet them where they are and provide the services they actually need for their success. That's amazing. How do you find your young people?
So we go to organizations that already serve the same population. We partner with Village Family Services, and we go to their drop-in center and their transitional housing that they have. And then we work with Optimist Youth Homes, and we go to them.
So you're mobile, so you travel to those organizations and provide your program.
That's great. Because we found that if we want them to come to us, it's so much harder. It's so much harder.
Yes, it is.
So
there's barriers. I mean, especially when you're serving young people in foster care. You have the transportation barrier. You have all of these others. We've been in conversation with just the Metro. I know the Metro provides free transportation for foster youth, but oftentimes creating that environment where they feel safe enough to want to do the Metro to get to X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So.
And a lot of our workshops are in the evening because our workshop leaders work during the day. So a lot of them are in the evening, and just, for safety reasons, riding the bus in the evening or taking public transportation is really, I would prefer to go to them just for safety reasons and for.
No, understood. Definitely understand that. So tell me the mission of Jacaranda. We understand what you do, but what is your actual mission?
Our mission is to work with this population of 18 to 24-year-olds and really just prepare them for independent living.
Okay.
Keeping them off the streets, keeping them from becoming homeless again, because currently all of the young adults that we're working with are considered homeless because they're in transitional housing or in a group home setting. So they're already experiencing it. And so just showing them ways that they can avoid it in the future by budgeting properly, by this is how you write a resume, this is how you do an interview. So, we really want to take that number of transition age youth that are homeless in Los Angeles.
Yeah, because that pipeline is very large.
It's huge. And we just, 60, we served over 60 young adults this past year. So
congratulations.
So thank you. So that's 60 young adults that have the tools.
Yeah.
We can't make them use the tools, but they have the tools that they need to work on becoming an independent adult.
That's good. And foster care specifically is the area in which you are serving youth. Did that come from working on Skid Row? What was it about foster youth that made you want to focus on that demographic?
I think, even if you're living with your family in a homeless shelter, or that you still have that family feel, and I totally understand, and I'm not, unaware that those home situations can be very volatile as well.
Right.
But I think for me, it's that lack of family feel, that lack of connection.
Yeah.
And that is where I saw the young children and the older children that I worked with in Skid Row that would go from foster home to foster home. And I remember very vividly one of the young women one young girls that I worked with, she was 14. She called me from Northern California where she was placed in foster care, and she's like, Miss Allie, I have been at McDonald's for 4 hours trying to get my foster mom to come pick me up, and she's not answering her phone.
4 hours?
She's not answering her phone. And it's getting dark, and I'm scared, and I don't know what to do. And I was like, so I had her give me the lady's number, and I was like, go pick her up, or I'm going to drive up to
So
to
she
Northern
answered when you
California.
called?
No, I left her a voicemail. And so she didn't answer. And so I'm just like, I hear those stories.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have a very mothering heart. I understand that. And so, which is one of the reasons why I'm the founder and executive director and not a caseworker, because I would get myself into a lot of trouble.
Oh, tell me about it. Look, I know firsthand, absolutely. Especially when you're leading with your heart. It's just like, I remember I was in a leadership program, and one of the CEOs that was in the program was saying, I turned my phone off after this time. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I was like, I don't have that luxury sometimes, because I sleep better knowing that they're okay. And if I get that call at 9 from youth who are, I've just been put out, I don't have a place to stay, then we have to go into how do we show up for them? How do we, when we're not just talking about our mission, but we're living our mission. And our mission is not necessarily focused on homelessness, but it is focused on the whole well-being of youth that are in the system. And homelessness is a huge part. If I need them to show up and want them to show up in the program, bringing all they have, they can't do that when they have slept on the street or don't know where they're sleeping at night. So we show up for them in that way. And that's been, for me, one of the most challenging part of the job is making sure that we are available for our young people beyond the 9 to 5.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been mentoring one of the kids from Skid Row for 15 years now. She was 10 when I met her, and she is now 25. And ever since I met her, I have not turned my ringer off at night because I'm like, if there's anything going on at home, if you're out doing something you shouldn't be and you need a ride home, call me. And so I definitely appreciate that about you, and your heart is that you also have that need to be there.
I figure if not me, then who?
Right? Absolutely.
Right? Who's going to show up for them?
Absolutely.
If we don't, and it's hard sometimes really balancing that life, right? But at the end of the day, when you're working with youth that have been impacted by the system, you just might be that only stable person that they know when I call, she's going to pick up.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And being that person is very hard sometimes, a lot of the times. But I think once you are in that place, they earn a respect for you, and then they're like, oh, it's too late, I'm gonna call her tomorrow. So
Exactly.
like they're not abusing
They don't abuse
it
right.
as much as you would you
Right.
would think.
Right.
But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how do you implement work-life balance? What do you do for you?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I know, right? I got asked that question once, and I was like,
I have a really good support system.
Okay.
I surround myself with friends who are really good at checking in on me, making sure I'm taking days off. Because as a startup nonprofit, like we're only 3 years old, so as a startup nonprofit, we we have a lot of work to do, and so just having people remind me, Allie, it'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can wait till tomorrow on that. And then they'll take me out and celebrate my birthdays with me. They'll, so just having a good support system for myself.
Yeah.
And being able to have people who just pour into me. That's how I
Understood.
I work on myself.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, we need that. We need
Yeah.
as one of the mentors. I'm in a program called City Scholars, and the founder of City Scholars is always saying you got to have that kitchen cabinet of people that you can call on and talk to, and who's gonna pour into you and hold you accountable for the things that you're supposed to do, but also hold you accountable for that self-care and making sure that you are caring for yourself. What is probably the most rewarding part of the work that you do?
So I am the type of leader that gets my hands dirty. That's such a horrible way of saying it.
No, but it is what it is. You gotta, Look,
but I love
when you planting, you gotta put your hand in the dirt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love going to the workshops, and being the face of Jacaranda for all the youth that come, because it's not the same people leading each workshop.
Okay.
So being the person that they recognize.
The consistency.
And they're like, oh yeah, I can trust them because they came with Allie.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. So my favorite thing is the reoccurring participants in my program, is the ones that because they're adults, they don't have to come to the workshops. They choose to come, and I get people that don't come to anything, but they'll come to my workshops, and they'll come give me a big hug and be like, Miss Allie, it's so good to see you. It's been a month. I'm like, yeah, once a month is hard. I'm sorry, But I think that's the most rewarding thing is that, and we do birthday gifts. For the young adults living in the transitional houses. So I'll come with my birthday gifts and with baked goods for them and home cooked meal, and they are just like, oh my gosh, you care.
Yeah.
And just seeing them realize that, I think that's the most rewarding part for me.
That's good. That's good. Who are some of the leaders you admire?
You know, some of the leaders, I thought about this. Some of the leaders I admire are leaders that you wouldn't have heard of because they are, I worked with a pastor for a while who every morning before church we were setting up and he was mopping the floor.
Well, let's give him his flowers. Who's this pastor?
Dave Stewart. He's in Ohio again.
Okay.
So he moved back to Ohio, but yeah, Dave Stewart. He was a really great leader, and he was someone who was always in the trenches, always out meeting people, and really just gave people the sense of connection with him.
Yeah.
He wasn't like too good to talk to you, or that kind of thing. And so I have a few people in my life that are like that, who are like just really good, almost silent leaders.
Yeah.
They lead by action and they lead by serving, and it's
my favorite kind of leader.
Yeah. It's just, I think that's really what I want to be, is like them in that way, is I want to be a servant leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. Look, they gave me my little warning, that warning that I don't like to get, that I got to wrap up.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's been so rich. Does Jacaranda have anything on the horizon that you want to share with the audience? Anything to look out for? Any fundraiser? I know you just had an amazing jazz.
We had an awesome jazz brunch. Yeah.
Cool.
We don't have any fundraisers coming up as of yet, but we are looking for volunteers.
Okay.
People who would be willing to lead some workshops, and we're looking at launching a mentorship program by the end of this year, which is really exciting for the young adults that are moving out of the transitional houses and into their own space for the first time. Just mentoring them through that and what that looks like. So we are looking for volunteers, and it would be that's what I would say.
Awesome. Well, you heard that. We're looking for volunteers to partner with Jacaranda Rising to help young people just navigate life. Like, we all need that big sister, big brother, that's somebody that we can really trust to help us make wise decisions and to pull our coattail when we're not making wise decisions, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And to hold us accountable about how we show up in life.
Yeah.
So that's good. How do they reach you?
They can reach us either on our website, it's jacarandarising.org, or you could email me directly at Ali, A-L-I, at jacarandarising.org.
There you have it. You know how to reach it. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Ali.
thank you for
This
having
has been
me.
Great. We've been talking for some time about all the things that you're doing and building, and just looking forward to us collaborating at some point, because we're on this journey together of making sure that these young people are taken care of and that they're set up for success in life, right?
Absolutely.
And it takes a village. So we
Yeah.
are the village. So thank you.
Yeah.
One of our partnering organizations. So super excited to have her here. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for today. I hope you've heard something that will motivate you to get involved in the work of just nonprofit service providers who are working with young people in foster care in particular. So there's just so many opportunities. So please take advantage of jumping in this lane with us, swimming with us, to make a difference. So again, always please like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment.